My mom wore a wedding dress to my wedding. For a little backstory, my husband and I got married 2 months ago. We had a very small wedding, only 20 guests, to keep costs low. We didn't have much money and didn't get any financial help. Now, about my mom, she's always been vain, critical, and honestly, my biggest bully. When I gained even a little weight as a kid, she'd call me fat and tell me to starve myself. I was 13 and barely 75 pounds. When I got acne in puberty, she rushed me to the dermatologist and bullied me for every blemish. She'd say my friends were prettier than me and give me lists on how I could look better. Because of her, I struggled with body dysmorphia and an eating disorder. Thankfully, I've worked through that. Back to the present, she came with me to pick out my wedding dress. We were on a budget, and there was only one dress in the store I could afford, $350, plain, and not something I really liked. But I bought it. She was one of the few people who saw my dress beforehand and knew how insecure I felt. A few months later, she FaceTimed me to show what she was going to wear, and my jaw dropped. It was a sparkly, ivory, full-length dress with a neckline identical to mine. It was very clearly a wedding dress. I told her I was uncomfortable and asked her not to wear it. She brushed me off and said she'd hem it shorter. Still, I said it was inappropriate. Wedding day came, and yes, she wore the dress. She stood out like a sore thumb. Guest after guest approached us to say how inappropriate it was. All we could do was nod. She placed herself everywhere attention was, near the cake, center of the venue, taking selfies and asking for pictures. It was obvious she wanted the spotlight. I tried to brush it off and enjoy my day, but it was hard, especially with such a small guest list. Weeks later, I called her to say how hurt I was. I reminded her how I had asked her not to wear that dress. She brushed me off again. I finally told her what guests said, and she exploded. She screamed at me, called me names, and blamed me. I dropped the argument because I knew it was pointless. But it's been 2 months, and I still can't move on. At first, I thought I was being a bridezilla. But the more I talked with others who were at the wedding, the more I realized I'm not overreacting. I was right to feel this way. I don't know what to do next. Talking to her again will only make things worse. She'll never admit she was wrong. So, I guess I just needed to vent. And no, there's no happy ending here. Just a daughter still hurt by the one person who should have supported her the most, on the most important day of her life.